off of Warrior One and also includes a balance challenge, which I love to challenge balance because if you've ever seen my intro video, you know that if we don't practice balance, we lose balance. So for this, you may or may not want a yoga block. I personally have short arms, so yoga blocks are my friend. I'm gonna put this at the top of my mat, and that way when I'm ready for it, it's right there. So to begin with, we are gonna start with a nice big inhale, bringing our hands up over our head and clasping them into temple. And then on our exhale, we're gonna side bend over to the right. Inhale, coming up, and exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, come up, and exhale, back bend, and inhale, up. We're gonna exhale, forward bend, swan dive, coming all the way down, and then stepping back into your downward dog. And then here, we're gonna pedal the heels, stretching one calf and then the other. Another thing I really like to do in downward dog is bend the knees and then press my chest to really stretch into those arms. Then we'll take the right leg up and bend that knee towards your chest to step your right foot forwards. Taking the back toes, turning them out slightly. And if you'll notice, my feet are not in a straight line. They are actually about hip width apart. So the front leg is in line with my front hip. My back leg is in line with its own hip. Warrior One is also a little bit shorter stance. So if you go too far out, then it can be really hard to get that back heel down. So it's all right to bring that foot forwards a bit. All right, so we're gonna inhale up. Think about exhaling, setting the shoulder blades back down into your back. Rotate the pinkies towards each other and think about lengthening up through the spine. Take an inhale. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, up. And exhale, bring the hands down. We're going to clasp our hands behind the back, opening the chest and lengthening through the tailbone and the crown of the head, coming forwards until you feel a stretch down the back of the front leg. As I'm doing this, I want this back hip to be coming forwards. The front hip is coming backwards. And I'm still lengthening through the spine. I'm not rounding forwards. Think about lengthening out through the crown of the head. Inhale. On your next exhale, you're going to come down, set that block into place wherever you need it to be. Again, making sure your hips are nice and squared. Pulling the front hip back, back hip forwards. Then we're going to lengthen through the spine as we bring our right arm up towards the ceiling. In this, I really want to think about lengthening from the crown of my head and out through my tailbone. And I'm looking straight ahead. I'm not looking up towards the ceiling. I'm looking straight ahead at the wall. So we are in revolved triangle. Then on your inhale, you're going to come down. And this is where it's going to get fun. So for this front leg, you can either place your hands on your thigh and come forwards, and then see if you can just lift the back leg. If you have really good balance, then from here, you can just come straight into your Warrior Three. So that's the goal. We still want our hips nice and squared off. You can do whatever you like with your hands. If you want them above your head, out to the side, whatever you like. Now, without lowering the back leg, we're going to bend the knee and come into our tree pose. And here you can take a breath. Finding your focus, find your balance. And then gently bringing your left foot down to the floor. All right, bending the knees, shaking it out a little bit. So I know the hip of that standing leg gets kind of tired. And we're gonna go to the other side. So again, inhale up. Clasp your hands into temple. We're gonna exhale over to the left. Inhale up. Exhale to the right. Inhaling up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale, slight micro bend in the knees. We actually want the hips to go backwards as we come down. That's going to be really beneficial for the low back. Coming all the way down, swan dive. And again, stepping back into downward dog. So pedal your feet here, whatever you like. Kind of play with your down dog. I always like to just feel into it. Thinking about taking your armpits up towards the ceiling, rotating them towards each other, stretching, and now we're going to take the left foot up, bending the knee into the chest, stepping that left foot forwards. Now if you can't get your foot all the way forward, just grab it, bring it forwards. Again, making sure that we have our feet hip width apart. From here, we're gonna bend through that front knee, lengthen through the spine, and come up. Now, as I come down into this warrior one, you can look at the line of your knee and see, is it over your big toe, your first two toes? If not, you can always pick up your heel, give it a couple of circles, and then set it back down. There's no need to try to push your knee in or out, just let it be. And then bring this front hip back and back hip is forward. So we're kind of redirecting our pelvis to try to keep it nice and in line. So here we are, warrior one. Pull those shoulder blades down, rotate the pinkies towards each other, lengthen through the crown of the head. This is a back bend pose because we're not here, we're extending through the spine. And exhale, back bend. Inhale, coming up. And exhale, lengthening through the front knee. Bring your hands around, clasp your hands behind your back. Open the chest. Send your tailbone out behind you. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Nice long spine. Just until you feel it stretch down the back of that front leg. And if you get your pelvis rotated to where it's in neutral, you feel it stretch down the outside of that front leg as well. Still breathing, lengthening. On your next exhale, we're going to come down, grab the block, setting it wherever is appropriate for you. And then on your next exhale, we're going to rotate into the revolved triangle. Again, I'm looking straight ahead. I'm not trying to look up towards the ceiling. I'm just looking straight ahead, trying to keep this hip back and the other hip pulling forwards. It's a constant correction, keeping the body in as much alignment as we can. And then inhale, come down. And again, to come into your warrior three, you can either put your hands on your thigh and then try to lift, or if you have the ability, if you have the balance for it, then you just bring your hands in front of your heart, shift forwards, and warrior three. Again, you can put your hands wherever you need to, finding your balance, trying to keep your hips as squared as possible. When you're ready, see if you can come straight into your tree pose without that back leg going down to the floor. And then again, just take a breath, find your balance. And when you're done, allow your foot to gently come back down to the floor. And again, you can kind of shake things out if you need to, roll it out. Because again, that series gets really fatiguing on that hip. So thank you so much for trying out my Yoga One sequence with the Warrior 3 challenge in it. And I hope you enjoyed this practice. Namaste.